What's up, gang? So I've teased it in a few videos in the past and a little bit on TikTok. It was seen in the background. Today we're finally going over the mods that I did to the playset scale AT-AT that released in 2020. So the goal of the mods that I did to this AT-AT weren't for accuracy or anything like that. It was purely how I wanted my AT-AT to look and what I think might be a little bit better. The only mod that I did do explicitly for accuracy was changing this visor up here and making it bulge out a little bit. We do as well have some mods going on the inside and in the back rear compartment, so we'll go ahead and get into it, but we'll start up with the head. So up on the head here, like we already said, I did make this visor red tiles as opposed to just a black piece that was on the original set. I really didn't like how that looked. I do think that was a tiny bit lazy. They definitely could have added just a few red tiles to make it look a little more accurate. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I did just want to go ahead and change that because there definitely was room for improvement up there. So I went ahead and changed that, and then I added a whole bunch of slopes on all the sides like it actually has on the AT-AT in Universe. So it's actually bulging out a little bit more from the set, but it gets smoothed in with all these slope pieces here. But then just on either side of this front face, I did add just a few sloping bricks on the side here to help cover up some of these studs. I didn't really change up anything here, and on the underside, I did actually tear out the spring-loaded shooters, but I didn't add anything in that place. I actually kind of like how that looks, and I like how these armor flaps kind of overhang where the spring-loaded shooters used to be. And then up on the roof of the head here, you can see I changed up the tiling and the plating quite a lot. So I didn't really do this for accuracy. I did take a little bit of inspiration from the AT-AT Universe, but I don't think I nailed the accurate look. But it also wasn't the primary goal with right here. I did just want to make a flap that hides this Technic bit here and then covers up a little bit of that empty space on the sides. Now, I do like this look. I wish it covered it up a little bit more right here, but I don't really like how this looks with a 1x4. It just sticks out a little too much, and then there's just a little bit of empty space in between where the studs should be to connect it. So I don't really like the empty slit that it leaves if you do a 1x4, so I just stick with a 1x3, and I'm pretty happy with the look. I will say, however, this connection here, a lot of the time it just wants to stick up, and you'll push it down, and it will flick back up. So when it flips up in this position, all I have to do is just resecure all this Technic so it's as close together as it can be, and then you can fold it down, and it should stay down until the Technic becomes loose again. But apart from the exterior, we do actually have some mods on the inside here. So we'll go ahead and fold up this top flap. So I went ahead and removed a lot of the side plating so you guys could get a better look at the interior. But I do have to keep this faceplate on because it houses some extra control panels for the pilots. You can't quite see it from this angle, so I'll fold this faceplate forward. The set originally only has these two control panels here for the two pilots. And I did like those control panels, but I did want to add a little bit more. So both of them have a joystick on each side, and then as well as these two control panels that I went ahead and added up top. Even with the two joysticks on each side, you can still fold down the faceplate and they stick just between the top control panels and the bottom ones. Now with General Veers in the backseat, he actually has two control panels all to himself, and that was plenty as well. But in the movie Empire Strikes Back, he does bring down this little visor thing, and I did kind of want to include that. So you can see that I do have a cheese slope piece in there, and I'll try and get a better angle. So a little bit of a better angle, you can see that visor piece that I attached is actually from the Microfighter AT-AT that came out in 2021, I believe, with the Tauntaun. So it's the perfect little visor for General Veers to peek out and look at the battlefield, and your two pilots still do fit in there comfortably. Here's a side view of what it looks like with everybody's control panels in the proper positions, and it is a little cramped, but I do think it works and I'm pretty happy with it. So that pretty much covers the head mods. I did do a tiny bit of plating on this backside to help cover it up, but there's not really much else to go over. That pretty much covers everything that I did up front. But now that we've covered the head, we can now go ahead and move on to the interior of the set. So I haven't done any modifications to the exterior of this main hull section. I have just done a little bit of plating down here below to help cover up some of the archways. I just added a few angled bricks on the front end here, you can see. But other than that, I haven't done any modifications to this exterior main hull section. Now we can go ahead and pop this flap open, and you can see I fit 3 troopers on this side. I have a small little keypad for them to unlock the door so they can disembark. You can see there's still a speeder bike in the rear, and we will go over that section on its own. So in between all the troopers, I have a small weapon rack with 3 blasters and 2 thermal detonators to go around, and then hanging above the troopers, the E-Web cannon that came with this set fits conveniently up there if you fold the legs up. So you guys can see I removed that little grapple line feature. It is a really good feature for people who want to recreate the scene, but I didn't really care to do that, so I just went ahead and removed it to make more room for interior space. But on this side you can see I only do have 2 seats because that's what the set came with. I have 2 snow troopers with sniper rifles, and then I do have 1 scout trooper ready to go out on his own. And you guys might be wondering, why is he going out on his own? He does have a speeder bike back there, but that's actually because there's another scout trooper in that rear section. But before we get back there, I do want to get these minifigures out so you can get a better look at what I did up front. So here we can get a better look at that little weapon locker I have in between all the troopers. On the bottom half, there is a control panel to unlock the weapons so they can be grabbed. I did remove that grapple feature like I said, but I still do have it spooled up in the back there. So now we can close up this interior space and go on to the rear section that houses the speeder bike. So here we are on the rear section, and we'll go ahead and open it up, and I have actually made a number of modifications back here. So you guys can see that I did plenty back here, and the first thing I think some of you guys will notice, apart from the control panel and the foot space for the trooper, is I changed the speeder bike from the one that came with the set to the one that came out most recently in 2022 from the Snow Trooper Battle Pack. I did do a comparison video on these speeder bikes as well as the E-Web blasters that came with both sets, so if you guys do want to see that, I'll have it linked in the description. And then as well on the left side, I added a little control hub for the Scout Trooper before he disembarks onto his speeder. I'll get the Scout Trooper out of here so we can get a better look at that small control panel. It isn't really much, just a few control panels, a few screens, one clear cheese wedge, as well as some antenna or some kind of joystick. And he does have a clip on the opposite side of the control panel if he wants to house a weapon, but right now I just have some binoculars in there. And then on this right side, we can get a better look at how I house the speeder in here. So it is only attached by one stud, and it does sit at a slight angle, as you guys can see. So as you guys can see, I added some plates down on the bottom, and then you can see I rounded out the one stud, so the speeder bike doesn't try to attach or get caught on anything else. It is only attached by this one black stud here. So the stud attaches to this front right corner on the speeder bike here. We'll go ahead and see if we can get that back in there without juggling the camera. We went ahead and got it placed in there, and then we can as well get the Scout Trooper back in to monitor the control panel. So now that we got him in here, you can actually close it up, and I don't believe these mods that I've done back here have added any extra negative space in between all these plates that line up. I still do believe it's the same as the standard set, which some people might think is a pro, some people might think is a con, but I'm extremely happy that I was able to fit that in there without making it bulge out and need a little bit of pressure to stay on. But other than that, that pretty much covers all the mods that I did to the AT-AT. It took me a few weeks to make this video because I wasn't quite sure if I was finally done modding this set. Of course, I'm never really done modding anything. Every now and then I'll pick up an old set and add on a few features, but I wasn't too sure if this was my first final draft on this set yet. But now I think it's clear I've moved on to modifying a few other sets in the meantime, so I think for now we can call this set modified, and then maybe sometime in the future I'll revisit it. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you guys did, go ahead and leave a like and comment down below any other alternate builds or mods that you guys want me to do, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, fellas.